Laurie, 3 straight titles. What's the feeling right now? What are the emotions?
A little bit of disbelief right now. We've just had a lot of adversity in the last couple of weeks, and today particularly as well. As you can tell, Caitlin's in the medical tent, and every one of them just dug as deep as they could. And it's not for Kelsey, but I think that they embrace that. Hey, everyone says they want to be an underdog, but like when you actually are, embrace it. And, just fight for every spot, and every one of them did. We had 3 freshmen in that top 5 or 6, I think. So people who've never been in this situation before really pulling it out. Sam Bush passing her usual 20 people in the last day, probably. I haven't looked at it yet, but probably something like that. And Amaris, after the 2 races that were just really have her down. She wanted to be here and be part of this for the team. And I mean, Caitlin clearly could have stopped at any point there. And I think she actually passed 5 people in the last 4 or 5 minutes again, and we won by 1. So you always tell people in cross country every point counts. But
did she have what was up with her? Like, did she have like an injury if she's in the medical tent, or what's going on?
She's sick, and she's been sick the last day and a half here. I know she wouldn't probably want me to say that because she doesn't make excuses or anything like that, but I was afraid that we wouldn't get through the race today, and I know at 5K that was tough, and she's had a lot of great performances here, but when she found out that we actually won by 1 point, I mean, she's just overwhelmed. That's what she's been here for and what her teammates do for her, and I can't imagine for her individually how tough this was to have this be the outcome team-wise. At least we can send her away with 1 more team title,
Coach, so you won by 1 point. Everything matters. Is there one person on your roster that you want to give a special shout out to? You feel like has been flying a bit under the radar?
Honestly, I can't even everyone in our score. I actually don't even. I haven't looked at anything. I know Leah Stevens was hard, but again, Caitlin was hurting, and she passed every person she could to help there. I know Leah Stevens was just kind of running by herself there for a while as a true freshman, which is tough. Obviously, Amaris after the last 2 races, and then Sam Bush had a rough start to the season and missed a lot of training over the summer, and so it's just been a matter of keeping that confidence each time. And she's worked with me, and just there have been some low points, but she knew that she could do this, having done it before, and just put herself in there. And then Grace Hartman obviously did not feel great in that last K either, but they just fought for every spot. And again, for us, 3 of them and then Hannah Gates too. So all of those are all freshman eligibility wise. And as we lose so many upperclassmen here, it's great to have a freshman class like that as well.
Are we going to see number 4?
What do you think clicked for Amaris today? Because she's DNF 2 races, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't get to talk to her a whole lot, but I get, sometimes when you're talking to people pre-race the day before, you can tell a big difference, and there was definitely a big difference yesterday. I think that it's always kind of this, well, the team's winning. It's hard in a situation when you have good teams and deep teams, right? Like, oh, somebody else is getting it done. And I think basically Amaris, a little bit probably with the Kelsey situation was like, well, this is what I came here for, to try to win national team titles, and it's my turn to get it done, and she just did.
You talked to Kelsey today?
Yeah.
What she said?
I mean, again, that can't say enough how much she is the heart and soul of this program, and how big of a hit that was to particularly like those of them who've been here with her for 4 or 5 years, but they are close, and they wanted to maybe be able to do this for her, and they did that in a big way today. She's not a very emotional person, but she's a little emotional today.
What part of the course were you on that you maybe said something, or were you able to say anything to them?
I was screaming at them at 5K that we were still winning. Because you can see it on the phone, but they don't know that. And so because you could tell people didn't feel great, so I wanted them to know that we still had a chance to win it. And so I think they all heard that. Probably.
Did you hear? Did you see them perk up a little bit and really lock in?
They very rarely look right at you, but they did. So.
Caitlin, right after she found out you guys